Dark mode is not just flipping a switch. It may seem obvious, but look at this. What most apps do is they take their light mode, invert the colors, and call it a day. And the result looks like a design tool at 2 AM that no one asked for. Meanwhile, apps like Linear, Versal, and Notion look incredible in both modes. So how is this? Not because they spent a lot of time on it, but simply because they understood a few rules. So today, I'm going to give you some of those rules, informations, tips, and tricks that you can use to upgrade your UI if you're a beginner at UI and design. Let's get started. So this is the file we'll be working on today. This will include all of our information and everything that I go over. You can find this file down in the description below, but if you could please stick to the end before going down there, I greatly appreciate it. Now this is not going to be a full in-depth guide. This is just a short little tutorial on some tips, tricks, rules, information, whatever you need on the basics as a beginner when it comes to light mode versus dark mode. Let's get started. First thing we'll go over is the different themes that we have. In dark mode, sometimes it's not just one solid color like for light mode. For light mode, you're probably going to get just a solid white or maybe an off-white or warm white. For dark mode, there are different types of themes. First, we have a pure black theme. This has a hex code of 000000 background, which is pure black, dark as you can get, with often dark colored cards on top of it. It's harsh and minimalistic, but it's really good for media heavy UI and high contrast. Apps like Versal and ChatGPT is really good for it because they have a lot of settings and chats and all these other things that you don't want to get your eyes conflicted with. So it's really good to use this for media heavy websites or anything that you just want really professional, in my opinion. The next type of theme that we have is the soft blue theme. This one I would describe as a gray theme. If you're not using pure black and you're using dark grays, then add a blue tint on top of it. This theme is more used for a dark mode on apps that you're going to be scrolling a lot in or just looking a lot at. So social media apps especially, you like to use this dark bluish type of tints on top of their colors to make it a lot softer on the eyes. As you can see, it adds depth while being a lot softer really easily. Apps like Instagram and Discord use this a lot, especially because they're really addicting social media apps. As you can see over here, we have our final different theme. Now there's obviously a bunch of themes in between here, but this is the same as our blue theme over here. But if you don't want to use the blue tint, for example, if your colors are other stuff like red and orange, you're able to use just the gray colors so that it doesn't conflict with the rest of your colors of your scheme. So we have, to recap, our dark or pure black theme, our bluish tinted theme, and our gray theme. Now which one you pick depends purely on the app, and there's no perfect one. Each one is obviously different and have its different purposes, and you need to use them, do your research so you can use them right for your app. Next, we're going to talk about light mode is not pure white. We went over this a little bit in our last video, but pure white in light mode is not the same thing as pure black does in dark mode. It's too extreme, it flattens everything, and it gives you basically like no room to create depth with lighter tones. So you often want to use a darker background than everything else. As you can see, Apple likes to do this a lot, where the background is slightly darker. It's not really off-white, but a really bright gray, and then the cards on top of it is white instead. You can add shadows, outlines, and everything else to add this depth, but make sure you don't have your cards and background be just pure white, because it doesn't work. You can also see that we are using softer colors. Over here it's all completely black, versus over here we're using softer colors in here and over here in all the text. This really helps add depth to your cards and doesn't make everything just blend in with each other, as you see here compared to here. The next section we'll go over is surface elevation. Now when it comes to dark mode, you don't really add more shadows like you would in light mode. For example, in light mode, you would want to add more shadows, as you see down here, to create more depth, except in dark mode, it's a lot harder to see it. It does work, but you typically don't want to. It doesn't really work for dark mode because of how much everything will blend in together. So instead, what you want to do is, as you see here, I have my page level, and this is going to be my base color. Next, you're going to have your, or in my case, this is my default card, and this card sits with a small box shadow. Compared to this one, also has a box shadow. Sorry, I didn't put it on this side, but it has a slightly lighter color than it does over here. And then let's say this is my hover state. If I'm hovering over the card, I want it to be not only have a heavier shadow, but a brighter tone, so that you can see that it's risen, it's rising, it adds depth. Whenever you don't do this, it can work sometimes, but often when you see this, especially on small screens like your phone or tablet, it doesn't really add that much, and it's a lot harder to see. Especially on computer, you want to make sure you have a lot of depth, because it just helps with the UX a lot more. Whenever you're hovering over something, you want people to know that you're hovering over it. You don't want people to hover over something like this and not know what they're hovering over, because it helps with the UX quite a lot. So make sure you always add depth to your objects based on the state, especially with surface elevation. And if you're going to use elevation like this, you want to make sure it gets lighter, not just shadowed. So next we'll go over the 3-tier hierarchy for our text. Now, all white or all black text really just removes hierarchy. Every element is basically asking for attention equally. So what you want to do is basically separate everything into different colors. Wow, this is pretty obvious, but the other thing that's a lot of other developers don't realize is that sometimes in dark mode, you don't want pure white text, and in light mode, you don't want pure dark text. It removes a lot of contrast. I mean, no, it adds a lot of contrast. And if you're looking for that, then you want to, I mean, of course, continue that. But generally, you don't really want to use pure black, especially in light mode, because it's a lot softer on the eyes when you don't. So you can see here, I use a very dark gray, but this is not black right here. And then you can see this is my primary color for my text, my secondary, and my muted color over here. Same thing on this side, I did not use pure white over here. This is my primary, secondary, and muted. And this creates a softer card that guides the eyes a lot more naturally, and is a really, really good UX improvement for your websites and apps. And finally, our borders in dark mode specifically, because in light mode you can get away with a lot more stuff, but in dark mode you want to make sure you get it right. So one thing that I see a lot of people do is they always think that darker border is what you need with all of your cards, especially in dark mode, but this is definitely not true. Sometimes it can work, but generally you want to use more brighter borders. As you can see here, I use a 0.10 opacity border on top of my notification card. Sometimes you also don't need to use borders because you can use shadows. Now, because it's dark mode, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using shadows everywhere, because it is a lot harder to add depth because the shadows kind of blend in with all the other elements. But it is possible for you to use them if you need to use them. And everything does not need a border, because I've seen some people that use borders everywhere and it just doesn't work. Some people that use shadows everywhere and it doesn't work, and there's a lot of that, but you don't really need to do all of that. So as long as you know that you don't have to do dark borders, light borders do work, and you're able to use shadows, you'll be good. And there you have it. This is light mode versus dark mode, all rules and information you need as a beginner. Now, if you want a longer tutorial than this, I got you. There'll be one coming up in a few days, and I'll show you basically every single rule and detail when it comes to light mode and dark mode, so that you can design your apps perfectly the first try. Now, if you like this type of content, please comment down below what you like and if there's anything else you would like to change. If you see anything that's wrong, please let me know and I can kindly fix it. Comment with you. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm a new channel. As you can see, this is one of my first videos, so I'm just starting out with this. I hope to show you everything you like to see, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, share, all that. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.